we are studying more about democracy. Last day we learned somewhat about democracy. Again, we are continuing with democracy, and it's a comparison we are doing here with non-democratic governments. Democracy is accountable, responsive, and legitimate government. Accountable. What do you mean by accountable? The citizens, they got the complete right to elect their rulers, and these rulers, they rule according to the will of the people, and the citizens, they got the right to take part in the decision making of the country. So this is why it is called as accountable and responsive. The rulers rule, or they are responsible to the needs of the people. So that is why it is said accountable and responsive. And the third one is legitimate. Why it is called as legitimate? All the functions in a democratic systems are working through a process, a legal process. Everywhere else you are able to see the legal process, or it is running through legally. That is why the democratic governments are called as accountable, responsive, and legitimate governments. Accountable to the people. Wherever the people ask, they should get the information from the government. So that way the government should be transparent. Everything should be clear in a democratic government. If you ask for any paper from the government, any step of any decisions taken in the parliament, any step of any rules which are made by the government, we are supposed to get it from the government. It is our right to Information Act. It is our right to get it. So everything should be clear or transparent in a democratic government. So in all the way, a democratic government should be accountable, should be responsive to the demands of the people, and legitimate. When it comes to a non-democratic government, are you able to see these three things over there? Never, I don't think so. Accountable, first case you take. Do they accountable to the people? Are the people are electing the rulers of the non-democratic government? Never. Mostly it is a hereditary process. After the father, then the son becomes, or he gives to someone else who is very close to him. So like that, it is not accountable, and never they look into the demand of the people, not responsive to the needs and demands of the people. So non-democratic government, he rules according to his own will, not the will of the people. Legitimate. Are they legitimate? No, never. A non-democratic government, they can't be legitimate. There is no process for taking any decisions. Directly he or she takes the decision and it imposes to the people. Never they go for any discussions or debates or anything else. As in the case of parliament, we are taking the discussions, we are conducting the debates in the legislative councils, assemblies in a democratic government. When it comes into non-democratic government, they never ask to anyone else in the country. They take the decisions by themselves. So in all the way, a democratic government is accountable, responsive, and legitimate. But when it comes into a non-democratic government, they are not accountable to the people. They never satisfy the demand or needs of the people, and they never follow the legal process, not legitimate at all. So this is the main difference between democratic government and a non-democratic government. There are various other things. Together with that, we have to understand that democracy gives all these things to us. But in some areas, democracy also creates some problems. When it goes to corruption, democracy is not free from corruption. Corruption occurs in each and every step of a democratic government. That is very clear in front of us all the times. Since India is a democratical country, various countries in the world are following the democracy. Everywhere else we are able to see the evidence of corruption. Another thing is that Everywhere else the democratical government are not able to satisfy the demand of the people. Somewhere else something lagging behind. Completely they are not able to satisfy the demand and the needs of the people. Somewhere else they get a failure in that. But because of these two things, these are the drawbacks of democracy. Because of these two things, we are not able to blame the democratical government. Majority of the countries of the world, they are following democracy because of the positive energy which comes from democracy. Together with that, you take the matter in a parliament. As we studied the case of Mandal report, it took around 10 to 15 years to bring a bill in the parliament, to pass a bill in the parliament and to implement it. So it takes time, too much time for discussions and debates and all the things. So too much of money is spending for that. Time is spending for that. But that is not a matter for a democratical government. Whatever time it takes, whatever money it spends, if the decision is better, if the decision is for the will of the people, that is more important for a democratical government. So today I am ending up the class today. So somewhat we learned today about the democratical system and about a non-democratical government. In the coming classes we will continue with the other aspects which comes between democracy and the non-democracy. Okay, thank you.